What's up guys, my name is Ace, and welcome back to Maps Exposed. This is the series where I go through the maps in this game and I find some good jump spots and lines of sight and just secret things that you may not have noticed with the maps to help you improve on them. And in today's video, we're going to be covering Underpass, Invasion, and most importantly, Highrise. And I've got some incredible spots on Highrise. But let's start this off with Underpass, and I want to start off in this area right here, because there's a bunch of jump spots surrounding this, and this can help you get around this map really effectively, especially this particular zone. And from here, I just wanted to point out, instead of taking the ladder here, what you can do is simply jump across like this. You can get up to this point, but that's not it. We can get even higher than that. If you come to this area right here, you can do that. You basically just jump to the top of that plywood, then you mantle up to the top of the building there, and that is just an excellent method of getting up here that a lot of people didn't know existed, and it's just a great way to get up here without having to go all the way around either side. Additionally, it may not look like it, but from right here, you can also jump right to the rooftop, just like that. It's crazy how high you can mantle there, and getting up to this position is something that people often don't expect. You obviously don't want to linger here for long, but it's excellent for running a route. On the flip side of that, if you're approaching this area from this side of the map, all you have to do is jump up onto this brick wall right here, and there you go. You can mantle up to the rooftop again right here. And again, this is just really nice and versatile for getting yourself around the map and taking people off guard that otherwise won't expect you. And as you keep moving through this building, just another spot I wanted to show. If you find yourself in this alley right here and you know somebody's just got this area locked down, but you want to still keep moving on, you can actually jump from the garbage bags right here, right up to this area, and then from here, you can get up onto the roof. Next up, near the B domination area of this map, I just want to point out from this railing, you can actually jump right across to this area right here. And that could be used to take somebody off guard if maybe they're like camping down here, or maybe they're directly on the B flag and you just want to kind of take them off guard. That's a great way to do that. And it's much easier coming from this angle. And I use this all the time when I'm coming from this angle. You can jump up here. You actually have a nice bit of cover to challenge people there. It's a pretty fair gunfight, but still better than just running out into the open. And then obviously from here, you can jump up to this spot and then you can easily jump up on this railing and cover this area. And it's just often not a spot they're going to be looking at. Then, if you do have enemies that are camping up in that area right there, which is very common, this seems like the obvious choice to handle a gunfight against those people. In saying that, though, there's a slightly better method, or at least a different method, I'll say, that you can use, and that is to come up right here and shoot them right through this chain link. This is more concealment than cover, though. Just keep that in mind. Their bullets will pass through this like paper, basically, so they won't really be losing any bullet damage. So in some cases, you might be better off going with slightly harder cover here, but it's just an alternative that I wanted to point out for you guys. Now, if you are pushing this area right here, I just wanted to point out, I know this might seem really obvious, but it's just really useful. You can jump from the forklift to get up here rather than coming all the way around to the ladder. So that's all I've got for you guys for Underpass. Now let's move on to Invasion, and I've got a bunch of fairly straightforward spots as well as some really interesting ones that you probably didn't know about. The first one I wanted to point out is near the A domination flag here. Instead of taking the ladder up, that takes way too long. All you have to do is mantle onto this, and then from here you can get up to this spot. Not only is it just less expected, it's also going to be faster than taking the ladder. Similarly, if you come to this area right here and you want to get to the rooftop here, one method is to come up like this and kind of expose yourself to anybody that might be camping back here, and then you can jump up to the rooftop. But a better bet is to just jump on the phone booths right here, and then this will get you to the top. Then I've got a very interesting line of sight for you guys. It actually gets a line of sight onto part of the B domination flag and anybody that would be head glitching on that tank right there. And that's actually through this window. All you have to do on this one is come over to this car, shoot out this window right here, and there you go. Look at that line of sight. That's excellent. That covers a little bit next to the B flag, a little bit to the right of that garbage bin right there. But if people are capping like from right behind here, obviously you won't get a line of sight on them. It's more so if they're trying to cap like this, or again, if they're trying to like head glitch over this tank, that actually provides a nice line of sight to pick them off. Now, flipping that around, we can actually use this going the other way as well. It's more so as a check spot, or like maybe in hardcore modes, you'd be able to pick somebody off before they cross that area. But I just find this is great if you have enemies that are spawning over there and you're got yourself in this room. You can just mantle up here, see what's going on, and it'll give you at least an early warning of somebody that might be coming through this door so you can shoot them. Again, you probably won't have enough time to actually shoot and kill them with how the routes tend to work on this in core game modes, though. After that, super obvious here. I know this one is very clear to everyone, but yeah, you can jump up into the window right here. Most importantly, though, you can make this jump across this way. It's pretty tricky. It might take a couple tries, might take a little bit of practice, but you can absolutely make that jump across there, and that can be pretty helpful. On the flip side of that, we can do the exact same thing. This one's actually much easier to hit coming from that direction, so you can easily jump into the second story here. That's a great way to move across here. Additionally, with this building, instead of coming all the way around to the stairs to get to the second floor, you can actually just do it from the van right here. It might look like it's a bit too high to mantle, but you can easily make that, and it's just a much better way to get up here. Then something that will often happen in this lane is you'll have somebody sitting on top of that tank, and that's a nice piece of cover that they've got there, and they can really lock this lane down effectively. So an excellent method of challenging them is to simply mantle yourself right here, and there you go. You just sort of peek your way over. You can't stray too far or you'll fall off, but that's an excellent line of sight that they often won't expect, and it's just a good way to challenge them. Next, if you want to lock down this lane from this direction right here, and you want to lock down that doorway as well as just this path as people come through, you could kind of try to head glitch over the vehicle here. That's just fine, but just an alternative for you guys. If you come up right here, you'll kind of pop yourself up without even having to jump, and then from there, you have to kind of just jump up. And look at that. Excellent piece of cover right here. If you strafe over a little bit, you can see that doorway. Also, if they get pushed right up, you can even see and shoot through this area right here. So nice piece of cover to be having. Oh, and I should mention from this spot, you can also pop yourself up right here, and you can kind of head glitch over top like this. That's just another alternative that'll also get you a line of sight toward that window. Then just a little jump that looks like it may be a little too far. You can actually jump straight to this area right here without having to take the ladder. This one can be a little bit tricky to time right and hit perfectly, but if you do, it might save you a little bit of time. And then finally, let's cover this general sea domination area of the map where people often get spawn trapped. Right here, instead of taking the ladder, just wanted to show you guys an alternate route that you can use. I like popping myself up here. I can check to make sure I'm clear here as well as the window, and I've got nice cover. Once I know that's clear, from here, I can then jump up like this. Now, it's a bit of a risk because sometimes you'll just have the campers basically just sitting here pre-aiming and you'll pop up right in their sights. But a lot of the times, they're going to be looking for you here, or they're going to be looking at this ladder, and that's just a method that you can use to take them off guard. Speaking of taking those guys off guard, if you're approaching from the back end right here, instead of taking the stairs where they might have a claymore or a Betty, or maybe they're just like camping and just watching the stairway, just waiting for you right here, just a little alternative that you can use is to jump up like this, and you can jump into either one of these windows, and that'll get you a nice line of sight on these people, and you'll avoid any claymore placement. So that's Invasion out of the way. Now let's get into Highrise, and I've got some incredible spots to share for you guys. I know a lot of you guys that played the original Modern Warfare 2, you know about this spot. I'm just going to show it. Super obvious. You get up here, you work your way around the edge. Very high risk to get across here without getting shot. But if you can do it, you come all the way around, you get up onto this spot, and then you can mantle up and get to the rooftop. And from here, obviously, you're really exposed to any sort of aerial streaks, but you could snipe up here and pick people off. It's honestly not the best spot, especially once people know you're there. You're pretty easy to pick off of there. But the main thing I wanted to point out here is that's not the only way. There's actually significantly better ways to get up there that take a lot less time and a little less risk as well. The first one is from this rooftop right here. You can actually just jump straight across to this ledge and do the same thing from there. Additionally, this one's a little more tricky to hit and it will require a little bit of practice, but you can jump across here. And from there, you have to try to catch that mantle. Again, this isn't going to happen really consistently. It does take a little bit of practice, but if you can nail it, it's a really effective way that's the lowest risk out of all of them because you're not exposing yourself to the overall in the middle area of the map there, and you can easily just jump across and get yourself up. And finally, those aren't the only methods. You can also use this sign right here. Come across like this, and from here, all you have to do is jump, catch this mantle, and there you go. This is actually the best method of getting to this rooftop because you don't expose yourself to the entire center of the map. You're only exposing yourself to this side of the map, essentially. So there we go, just a few alternatives to get to that rooftop that didn't exist in the original Modern Warfare 2. Those are all brand new methods. Next, in this middle area right here, I just wanted to point out, instead of taking the stairs up, which could take some time, and that's exactly the route they expect you to take, a much faster route is to mantle here and then just simply jump across. There you go. That'll get you up to this spot really fast and effectively. And on the flip side of that, you can do this, but it is a lot more tricky to hit. You can't just jump direct from these barrels. You can't quite make that jump, but you can jump on top of these areas right here. And then from here, you can jump and catch a mantle, but it is a bit tricky. It's not the most consistent mantle to be catching, but if you manage to practice it a little bit and hit it effectively, this is just an awesome alternative to get yourself up onto that area without having to take the stairs. Additionally, for a fast way up, I'm sure a lot of you guys know about this by now, but from here, you can actually jump right on top of this tank, and then from there, get up here. Again, just a little bit of a different route than taking the stairs. Then again, for all of you OG Modern Warfare 2 players, you probably already know about this, but this is just a nice little flank route that you can use. You can drop off the edge of the map right here, walk yourself around these edges, and then you can use this to get up. Obviously, it works going both ways. Then getting inside this building, I just wanted to point out, you can very easily get to these top areas here. It's more so just an area to look out for people camping. I wouldn't recommend actually coming up here because you're not going to get enough traffic to get a lot of kills. You might take the odd guy off guard like once, but by the time they know you're there, you're going to be in big trouble. Then, of course, I do want to show how to get into the second story of that building we were just in. Again, this is from the original Modern Warfare 2, and it is fairly obvious, but just in case somebody's like brand new to the franchise and they haven't seen this yet, I just wanted to show this off for you guys. You can work yourself all the way around like this, crouch, and there you go. Now you can shoot people coming out of their spawn there, or if this is your team spawn, now this is just a fairly nice way to get a good vantage point over many of the lanes on the map, and you have reasonably decent cover, which is great. Now, let's get into this middle map area, and I've got a bunch of little jump spots that are quite effective. Right in here is a hard point, as well as just an area where people really like to sit, and sometimes you have somebody sitting in a corner like this, or just something like that, watching this doorway. And if you're approaching from this direction, I actually find this is a really nice way to get in there. Just hop onto the top of the railing here, and then you just pop yourself up like this. Anybody in the corner, you can just shoot them in the top of the head. They'll have no idea what hit them. It's just a nice little alternative route. Similarly, if you're approaching from the other side, this one is a lot more risky, but you can do it. You can jump to this wall right here, and again, you can just pop yourself up and shoot people in the top of the head. And also, once you're in this area, this is something I do all the time, and people, for some reason, never see it coming. You can easily jump on top of these and just pick somebody off. Now, with these, you can also use these spots to get lines of sight in toward the spawn right here. This is not bad, but just an alternative. You can actually pop yourself right on top of this area right here. And from here, you can crouch nicely to get a lot more cover. And then when you stand up, you've got a great piece of cover to challenge people. Now, something that's quite interesting in domination, if the enemies are spawning on that side of the map and they're coming for B-Dom and they're typically coming through this area right here, you don't really have the greatest cover, or any cover really, to challenge these people unless you jump yourself over this way and you simply pop yourself down onto the second pipe right here. And from here, this provides a nice piece of cover to cover that area. And they're often not going to expect this. You can also use this to then challenge people that are coming this way. You got to keep your head on a swivel a little bit, but it's just a nice little spot that I never see anybody using. And there we go. That's going to wrap it up for today's episode of Maps Exposed on Highrise, Invasion, and Underpass. Now, if you guys have missed any of the previous episodes of this series, I will leave a link to the playlist in the description of the video so you guys can check those out. We've actually covered quite a few maps already. And if you enjoyed this one, a like rating is always appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.